When I started making defensive videos, I promised myself I would not make any negative content. I'm a former coach, I'm still a consultant, and I know what it's like to fail in public. It's really hard coaching at any level, let alone the NFL, let alone against a possessed Mike McDaniel. But when I saw the Broncos gave up 70 points, I wanted to take a look at it, and after watching the defensive performance against the Dolphins and being asked by some of my friends to tell them what went wrong, I decided to break it down for you. There were many issues against the Dolphins, but the main 4 things I saw were bad defensive structure and edges, coverage busts and voids exacerbated by a bad pass rush, soft play on the perimeter of the defense, and bad defensive scheme choices leading to the defense being sawed in half. We'll get to what all this means in depth. I'm going to show you some plays. But before we do, make sure to like the video and smash that subscribe button, and let's get into it. The defensive schemes and decisions in this game were honestly baffling. We'll cover a few here and then some later. On the 4th play of the game, the Dolphins are in 21 personnel and the Broncos are in a 4-3 defense, playing 2-man on 2nd down. Cover 2-man is a pass-only long down and distance call. The DBs and underneath defenders are in man trailing. The 2 deep safeties are bailing out of the stadium. You literally couldn't pick a worse run defense unless it was a last play, 2-minute prevent situation. The Dolphins run a simple toss crack play and get 15 yards. Like I mentioned, the DBs are inside trail man coverage on the receivers. There's no run support. The safeties are pedaling. The field size safety doesn't even stop pedaling until the ball almost reaches the line of scrimmage. Just very bizarre. 2 plays earlier, the 2nd play of the game, the same call is made, and because the 3 linebackers are in man coverage and the offensive players are crossing off run action, the tight end gets lost in the over route for an easy pitch and catch and a 15-yard gain. Again, the Broncos are in 2-man on 1st and 10, and the Dolphins are inside their own 20-yard line. It's the 2nd play of the game. 2-man is a bad call on 1st and 10, unless the offense is down by 28 points or something like that. And like 11 and 10 personnel when everybody's spread out. But to do it against 21 with a fullback in the game, and you can't even get anyone on the guy releasing because the way that the flow of the play goes, the guy covering him is staring at the lead back coming onto him. It's just bad structure. The second main issue that the Broncos had were coverage busts and voids in their zones, if you even want to call some of it zone. On the very next play of the game, the Broncos switch into cover 8 or half quarter. Patrick Surtain's on the bottom. He is the number 1 receiver man-to-man unless he goes underneath. And their deep safety is reading 2 and has him vertical. If 2 doesn't go vertical, he can help on 1 to his side or look across the field to poach from the front side of the formation. If the number 1 receiver starts to run across, Surtain can escort him to the safety Turner Yell and look for anything coming back to him. Or Surtain can stay on the receiver and let Turner Yell pick up the route coming from the other side. And this is on high alert because the Dolphins are in a condensed formation. There's a high likelihood of these deep crossers happening, where you try to suck in one side and pop something in behind them. Neither of those scenarios happens, and the best receiver in football, yeah, I said it, is left wide ass open for a 54-yard touchdown. And this also is able to happen because the Broncos get absolutely 0 pass rush. And keep in mind, these are 3 out of the first 4 plays in the game. We haven't even got to the 5th play of the game, and you already see 3 huge issues. One of the biggest issues I saw with the Broncos defense is the lack of cohesiveness in coverage philosophy. Generally speaking, in cover 3, there are 3 ways to play it. 1, a true zone drop where everybody's just going to get depth and read the quarterback's eyes, break on the throw. A zone match version where the defenders drop to zones and then start to latch on to receivers as they come through their zone. And then more of a true match 3 where it's going to almost play like man unless the receivers start running across the field. But the issue is the Broncos are playing different versions of this simultaneously. The rule of thumb when defending formations is generally to zone any sets that are condensed like this. This is because, like I said on the last play, crossing routes are more likely to take place. You want to be able to gain depth and then collect the routes as they play out. Here, I'm not sure what's happening. Surtain is playing press man on the X receiver, and the overhang here is playing like man-to-man on the back who's flaring. The Broncos lose the edge of their zone to that side because it plays out like man. So the right side of the defense is playing zone, including both backers. And if you're going to mix and match, which you can do, but there has to be at least some cohesion. If you're going to pass a zone back to the man side, one of the players on the zone side has to take it back and cover crossers to the other side. The linebackers have a truly awful game, don't get enough depth, don't take the crossers, and there are 2 Dolphin receivers again, wide open. And this happens time and time again. Here's another snap of the Broncos playing cover 3. They're playing 3-week buzz, so the safety's inserting into the hook. The corner here is playing like zone cover 3, and he's letting the receiver go inside. The nickel plays like match on 2, getting absolutely no depth, kind of shuffles. And the strong inside linebacker doesn't get depth either, and he bites the cheese on the route in front of him. The first thing that you learn in Pop Warner football, the first thing when you're playing defense is if you're playing zone and there are 2 receivers, you take the deeper receiver and you rally to the short player. I don't give a shit if it's prime Randy Moss. This is the rule. I don't know the call or what the Broncos are being taught because I'm not in the meeting rooms, but something is wrong. Someone is wrong here. Either Surtain needs to squeeze Tyreek Hill into the middle of the field, or the nickel and inside linebacker need to drop deeper. There's just no cohesion. But another theme you see throughout the game is soft edges. The corners are backing up too much. They don't trigger when they need to, and they aren't physical enough at the point of attack. Here's a simple swing pass to the flats, and you can just see it here. Trigger's okay, but leaving your feet on the tackle, we just need more physicality. You can see it here on the next play. I know this is a trick play, but Damari Mathis here, he's a cover 2 corner. He should be reading the end man on line of scrimmage for run pass. It is clearly a run with multiple linemen getting downfield. Mathis keeps backing up and creates space, which is the worst thing you can do as an edge defender, a contained defender. Vass, who's responsible for fitting inside out, is also backing up, creating vertical space for the offensive lineman to get up to him. It's a common misconception that most big runs happen with horizontal seams, but a lot of them are vertical seams in the back as a 2-way go. And here, the vertical seam kills the defense. Achane gets 40 yards on the reverse. This can't happen. There are some really bizarre decisions in this game. Again, I hate saying this stuff, but I just don't understand it. One of them, going into the game, was Vance Joseph's decision to play 5-1 bear underfronts against the Dolphins. These fronts were popularized, but certainly not created by Vic Fangio and Brandon Staley over the past few years in their penny package. A lot of people have started using it. The idea is to play bear out of nickel personnel groups with 2 high safeties to 11 personnel to help with inside zone and wide zones. In fact, these 2 coaches only play it to 11 personnel unless there's some sort of major exception, like a team gets into 12 and then mostly runs 11 personnel plays with the second tight end playing as a receiver or something along those lines. You do not play them versus teams with a second fullback, 21 personnel. It creates all sorts of structural problems that would take a whole nother video to explain this completely. But let me just say, this fullback creates an 8th gap that can move around, and the defense can't match it easily. The fullback gets up to the second level, there's only 1 linebacker and no one for the running back. Another huge issue with the penny bear structure is because you commit 5 people to the line of scrimmage and only 1 linebacker, and you have the 4 DBs, you can get sawed in half easily. The extra defenders on the line of scrimmage can't flow over the top to help out on cutbacks and pursuit, and you'd be better off starting the inside backer on a knee and have him pop up when the ball's snapped with plays away from you. Here's another quick snap of bad 2-eye play. When the center climbs, you need to be able to play both A gaps and make the ball cut back. But he latches on to win and actually tries to shed into the B gap, which is bad technique. I know guys want to play gap and a half, but this is not the time to do it. You can see Drew Sanders and Randy Gregory here playing for the cutback. They're expecting the ball to get cut off and roll back to them. It doesn't happen. The last play here, and to me, it's kind of a microcosm of the whole game. It's late in the game, but it's a truly bizarre fit and structure by the Broncos. The Broncos align in double 3 techniques with only 1 linebacker to cover both A gaps. Again, this is something that you would do on 3rd and 20 when you're up by 20 points. I don't know if the Broncos are trying to blitz off the edge here, but the defensive tackle doesn't pinch if that's the case. And that's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario is they just decided to put 1 inside linebacker with 2 A gaps. The edge player looks very confused. The corner fits too far inside. And watch Surtain on the backside. He just quits. It's inexcusable. Let me say this. I love Patrick Surtain. He is one of my favorite corners in the NFL. I loved him in college. I loved watching his dad play. They're both certified gold-nutted studs. But this is absolute horseshit effort. He is the one that is supposed to save the touchdown here, and he flat-ass quits on the play. The good news is that some of this stuff is fixable. Some of the structural choices, it's an easy fix. Getting guys on the same page in coverage, it's not a lack of talent, it's a lack of body positioning, which is something that can be coached. These things are fixable as well, but a little harder. You got to get more physical on the edges. I don't know if it's just a coaching thing where they're telling them to play soft, and then trigger at the last second, or if it's a personality thing. I don't want to accuse anybody of being soft. I don't know these players personally. They got to come up and be more physical. They also need to be smarter with their angles, staying square on cutbacks, cutback angles, fit placements, and all that stuff. What worries me is the interior line presence, and I know the Dolphins line is good, but the Broncos line got ragdolled for a lot of the game. If you go back and watch, you're not seeing a lot of guys win one-on-ones on the inside or forcing stout double teams. They don't get moved back. There's a lot of one-on-one blocking and the D lineman getting pushed back, which that's a little bit harder to fix. What's really concerning, though, is the total lack of pass rush. I know the Dolphins' offense wasn't in pure pass situations all that much, but even in the play-action pass situations, you got to convert to a pass rush once you see it's not a run. And really, a lot of those play-action passes, they were pass blocked. The ball fakes were run, but the line was blocking pass with a soft puller. Those linemen got to convert, and if they do that, they clean up the effort and some of the mental errors. I do think the Broncos defense can recover and get better. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like it, smash that subscribe button. Oh, and make sure to turn the little bell thingy on so when we do post a video, you get a little notification. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.